Over the weekend, Hungary's nationalist Prime Minister Viktor Orban's party has won a fourth term by a landslide in the country's elections. In his victory speech, Orban has criticised Brussels bureaucrats and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Well, let's now speak to Zsuzsanna Szelenyi, who's a former Hungarian MP and founder member of the Fidesz party. She left the party in 1994 and is now a vocal critic of Orban. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Your response, first of all, to the results?
Well, this is a really, really disappointing result because ever first since 2010, when Orban got his landslide victory first, the moderate opposition parties all united to challenge the ruling party together. So there was actually a chance now to make a much better result and even maybe to defeat Orban. But not that this not happened, but he actually got even more votes than ever before. So that's there's a lot of discussion and thinking why that happened.
And what do you put that down to? What is Viktor Orban's appeal to the Hungarian voters?
Right. So there are probably a number of things. The one is that because the stakes were so high for Orban for losing, they really did a very strong mobilization, especially in smaller villages and small towns where the Fidesz party is relatively strong anyway, and where people do get their information from public media, which is deeply biased towards the ruling party. So this is one reason that we can see from the numbers. The other one is because of the war. It was very interesting how the war of Russia against Ukraine played out in the Hungarian political scene, and the united opposition basically shared the point of view of what European countries presented, so that Europe must support Ukraine as much as possible with sanctions and other support. However, Orban could really spin this situation, and he didn't let himself to push to the corner as friend of Putin, but he basically profiled his party as security and peace and guarantee for low energy prices, and blamed the opposition as warmongers, as someone who would mix country to the war and also raise prices. So basically they presented the opposition with their huge propaganda machinery as a dangerous force. And most probably undecided voters who are not so much following news, they were deeply touched by this message. And this was a kind of shifting the public opinion dramatically in the last couple of weeks.
And obviously this election took place against the background of what is happening in Ukraine. Orban has been an ally of Putin, reluctant to criticise the invasion. Did that play any part at all, do you think, in the election result? I mean, I suppose it's one of those things. Foreign affairs generally tend not to, in elections right around the world, it tends to be more, arguments over money in your pocket rather than foreign affairs. But has his alliance with Putin had any impact at all on Orban's reputation in Hungary?
Well, definitely. I mean, obviously, the opposition pointed this information, and they demonstrated Orban as a friend of Putin. But it must be taken seriously that this country is not a fair and free country. Elections are really shadowed by an overwhelming overlap between the state resources and the ruling party's resources. There is, I think, tenfold much more money the government party used for this campaign than the other parties. Also, the public media, we don't even call it public media any longer. We call it state media because it only presents the opinion of the governing party. For example, the opposition parties didn't have more than 5 minutes over 6 weeks campaign to present themselves in the television. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, for example, the opposition leader Peter Marki-Zay, most of the posters on him were produced by Fidesz and demonstrated him as an enemy. It's just an unbelievable media environment. So this is the entire circumstance how this election campaign was going ahead.
It's really good to speak to you. Thank you very much for bringing us that picture from Hungary. Thanks very much for that. That was Zsuzsanna Szelenyi, a former Hungarian MP who helps found the Fidesz party, which is now led by Viktor Orban, who's won a fourth term by a landslide in the country's general election over the weekend.